one guy can get so excited about this. If I get enthusiasm, I get motivated, I get an inspiration when I sit next to the sea. So Web3 on the sea is live, learn, work, and play all in one. We come to Goa for a vacation. Can we change that to a workation? Yes, we are one community. So we are creating one community. And I wanted India to be a superpower in this space. That's my wish. And now that's becoming a reality. We are soon going to become the superpower in the Web3 space. Cybersecurity has a lot of protocols which are pretty outdated.
Right.
And the technology has moved beyond that. Who, when, where, what, how of blockchain. Now, blockchain is immutable. That is the greatest value of blockchain. It cannot be hacked. So F, fraud, information, trust, and security. That's the FITS model. That's where you fit in the blockchain. Fit it with cybersecurity, fit it in the IoT space, fit it in the AI space, and you've got a very, very well-oiled machine now, rather than just a one-off technology. Cybersecurity, blockchain, AI, regulators, governments, enterprise, all come together and have a beautiful tandem dance. We got to dance together to make that happen. We got to be in lockstep. We are right now marching in different directions. Let's always look up. The future is always forward thinking. Let's do it. That's all. Let's all together do it.
Raj is a four-time TEDx speaker, a global educator, and the driving force behind world's largest blockchain e-notary project with the government of India. He's also the CEO of Sagoon Inc. and a passionate advocate for cybersecurity and ethical AI. Simply put, Raj is just not talking about the future, he's building it. Thank you so much, Raj, for joining us today, and welcome to our show. Thank you so much, Raj, for joining us today. It is an honor and a privilege to have you today on our show. And first of all, we would like to begin with, if you could just take us through a journey leading up to Web3 on the sea, and, what key experiences and insights from your past ventures guided you to, pioneering a blockchain project like this, and how, what has your vision and how has your vision, evolved for cybersecurity along the way?
Yes, it's a very nice question always. This is my favorite subject anyway. Web3 on the sea is a little like a dream come true, so to speak. So I'd always love to talk about it. It's like a passion, it's like a muse, whatever you want to call it. And that's exactly where it is. Well, it came about very simply like this. We live in a very fragmented tech society, especially where blockchain is concerned. A lot of people keep getting confused blockchain, Bitcoin, DeFi, metaverse, NFT, and along with that comes a lot of they're great technologies. At the same time comes another side, the dark side of all these technologies, which people like to remember rather than the good side. So one of the things I said, okay, let's first of all, it started off with the vision, and when we started off in India, 2018, when we said, okay, let's make some sense out of all these names which people are being throwing around. Started with that. I'll fast forward a little bit how Web3 on the sea came, because that was something very unique. See, I shifted to Goa about 5 years back. One of the best decisions of my life. When I was sitting here, I do a lot of work even now by the beach,
Right.
sitting in a yacht. Yes, sitting in a yacht sometimes, sitting, by the riverside. It gives me a different sort of a pleasure. So I was thinking that if it gives me a pleasure, why wouldn't it give a lot of other people a pleasure? Everybody comes to Goa for a holiday. What do you look for? The sun, the sea, the sand, the shacks. That's what you look at.
Right.
Then came one day, we had a client of mine. He had come down from the UK, and I had taken him on a river cruise. You want to have a river cruise? So I said, okay, Ado. We had a river cruise, and we were to have a meeting post that in his hotel. He was staying at the Marriott. So we said after that, we'll go to the Marriott, sign up everything, celebrate at night, and then, the next day he was to leave there. Great. So during the river cruise, since I was quite familiar with the area, there is a little yacht which I use. I hire a yacht, beautiful yacht, which has got a little barbecue, it's got a little bar, it's got seating, sun deck, everything, So it's a very nice thing. So we were actually traveling in that, and I told this guy, I told him, listen, his name is Jason. Jason, why don't you, have a look at where the dolphins are? He wanted to know where the dolphins are. I said, come on, I'll take you where the dolphins are. So we actually stopped at a place, and we were watching the dolphins, which is a rare sight anywhere. It's even fascinating for me even now. I've seen it hundreds of times now, but I still fascinating. And then was having a drink. I said, listen, Jason, you signed so many deals. We all sit in, boardrooms and offices. We sign. How about we sign right in the middle of the river? So I actually opened up the docket, opened up everything. He says, this is great. He
Mm-hmm.
signed, I signed, and that somebody took a video and that became viral. And it
Wow.
became viral in the sense that all of a sudden we signed, I said, we have signed a deal in the middle of a river, just
Right.
next to the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the confluence of where the river meets the sea. And it was a very ethereal, beautiful setting. So I enjoyed that.
Uh-huh.
He enjoyed that. He kept on, he made a lot of noise about it. Oh, I signed with Raj in the middle of the river, blah, blah, blah. And that was the thought which popped in my head. If one guy can get so excited about this, if I get sort of, I get enthusiasm, I get motivated, I get an inspiration when I sit next to the sea.
Right.
Can this be for everybody? Especially in the Web3 ecosystem, which is very, very fragmented.
Mm-hmm.
It's also decentralized and it's a community based technology rather than a technology owned by an organization. It's a disintermediated, there is no intermediary, there is no, it's distributed, doesn't belong to anybody.
Right. Right.
It's a community. I'm talking about public blockchain. Now, private blockchain is a different story. That sort of ignited this. In the next few days,
Mm-hmm.
I was with the minister, IT minister of Goa, Rohan Khaunte, and I just told him, listen, I want to just share an idea with you. Not a presentation. I didn't have a presentation also. I didn't even have the presentation. And I just put this in front of him.
Okay.
And he said, this is, he immediately, look at that. He's a lot of forward thinking. It takes, to immediately make a decision. He immediately said, yes, let's do it.
Very
Then he
interesting.
told me to make the vision document, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But the ideation was done and accepted by the minister himself at the very early stage.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of also encouraged me. Okay, we can get that much. Otherwise, we know how the government bureaucracy works. Sometimes it's a slow elephant which moves very slowly. This was rapid. I had never experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, if somebody is so fast in the uptake, let me also do that. And then started the story. And then we conceived an idea where we have this entire district, which would be by the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And we also envisaged, we had a lot of these tankers and barges.
Right.
Barges were not being used because of that. The mining had stopped and go. I said, let us take these barges, refurbish them into co-working spaces, accelerators.
Mm-hmm.
Why not work from there? Why not let India work from there? We come to Goa for a vacation. Can we change that to a workation? We
Wo-
just it's a play on it's a
Absolutely.
punning on the word vacation to
Right.
workation, and that became our slogan.
Mm.
Let's make Goa a place from vacation to workation. So where you can
Working.
have vacation and work as well.
Right.
Of course, after COVID, a lot of people were working from home. So this became a very, very useful thing. Okay, I can work from here.
And then a lot
All
of
coming.
people are shifting also to Goa,
Yeah, yeah,
including
yeah. A
you,
lot of people are
right?
still
So,
here,
yes.
including. So,
Right.
Amina, I
Mm.
ask you this question. Wouldn't you love to work by the sea
Absolutely.
on a beach?
Absolutely.
It's a dream. It's a dream. So I
Absolutely.
said, let's make the dream a reality. It doesn't cost us much.
Mm-hmm.
It takes ideation. And I said, we'll take only one thing we'll do. We won't make this a concrete jungle.
Right.
Goa is not a concrete jungle.
Yes.
We
Yes.
love the greenery. We love the open spaces. We love the drives. So can we not have a sustainable city? And that's how it came. But then slowly I brought in a lot of partners who believed in the vision, including one of our two top partners, Antil House,
Mm-hmm.
Antil Ventures. Antil Ventures is a Hyderabad-based VC firm,
Mm-hmm.
and they have their MD and CEO is extremely excited. He says, "Yeah, Raj, this is something which we really should do. Let's start." And that's how I got. Then the entire ecosystem started falling in place. Mentors, funders, tech partners, compliance partners, everybody all coming together in one place. Before that, everybody had to hunt. Where am I going to get a mentor? Where will this technology? Which blockchain shall I use? What shall I do? Whom shall I ask? Now, here is one community, a village, a global village, and people are
Right.
from all over. A global village where people can come, live, learn, work, and play all in one place. So Web3 on the Sea is live, learn, work, and play all in one
And
for the
that's
ecosystem.
absolutely your brainchild, I must say that. Like,
Yeah, it was my brainchild. It is my brainchild. I'm proud about, you're all proud about our children, but I think this is the best child I produced.
absolutely, absolutely. I think and that's something you're giving to the society. You're creating a landmark in itself. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's good. So we brought in the Goa ecosystem, the co-working spaces,
Right.
everything bound by the single red thread around, which said, yes, we are one community. So we are creating one community. And I wanted India to be a superpower in this space. That's my wish. And so that's what I started IBA for as well. And now that's becoming a reality. We are soon going to become the superpower in the Web3 space. That's my belief.
That's great. And is the entire project already in process? Like, is in live?
Yes, we have now, the government has taken out 15 places identified by the beach. It's a longer process because we need a lot of clearances. We need environmental clearances, port clearances, etc. Many, many things. But out of the 15, three of them have already started.
Okay.
And as I said, it's the beginning of a journey.
Absolutely.
Manzil se lagte behtar hai ye raaste. That's what I always say.
Bilkul. Or yeah, how long, how many cities will it cover, if I may ask, or how many
Like
areas will it
it's
cover?
going to cover 15 districts, 15 districts as of now, maybe 20 in the future. But as of now, 15 districts have been sort of greenlit, and we are ready for those 15 districts. All of them are by the beach, all of them. So
Wow.
you're most welcome. You have a Goa visa now, so you can come
Yeah,
anytime.
thank you so much. Definitely, I would love to. And if I may ask also, just add to that question, like we spoke about the cybersecurity part, like how has your vision for cybersecurity evolved along the
So
way?
one of the key things inside this Web3 on the sea is we are actually setting up a center of excellence in digital security. As we talk about digital transformation, what we don't realize is we are moving so rapidly that
Right.
the security aspect often gets neglected or not addressed. In
Hmm.
fact, cybersecurity has a lot of protocols which are pretty outdated,
Right.
and the technology has moved beyond that.
Right.
So there are a lot of gaps. We need to
Mhm.
plug in those gaps. So we set up this, not only going to be for cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is the pivotal because
Mhm.
everyone starts putting in cybersecurity in place.
Mhm.
Yeah, we talk about cybersecurity and everything, but every day you read about hacks, you read about
Right.
leakages.
Yeah.
So my question always is, okay, so we have cybersecurity. Why isn't it doing its job? If
Exactly.
we,
Yes.
if it was a good guards person, why aren't we doing what we're supposed to do?
In fact,
That's
the target base is increasing day by day.
yes.
Mhm.
A lot of people, a lot of cybersecurity professionals don't really have the answer to that.
Hmm.
But we know our job very well. We are experts. They're all experts in their field.
Right.
But do they really know why? And we know the subject.
Right.
Why are we able to plug it?
Mhm.
Why at the highest levels it is being exploited?
Mhm.
Could be multiple reasons. And I'm not saying there is no silver bullet for anything,
Right. Mhm.
but it needs to be addressed. Can we use blockchain or artificial intelligence or any other technology,
Mhm.
blend it with existing cybersecurity protocols and make them secure? So therefore,
Mhm.
we said, let's have a research and development center here where we can practice all these, we can implement all these. Why are we dependent on an Israel for giving us solutions in this space, for example, or some other Western country?
Right.
Can we not in India do better research? Because we don't have spent much on research. So we decided to have one research center, which will be a security research. It could be cybersecurity, it could be crypto security. There are a lot of crypto scams also, how to
Right.
prevent them. So that's the research center which is being opened here. So cybersecurity is going to be at the center of a lot of this, yes.
That'll be
Uh,
interesting.
Research
Yeah.
happening in the cybersecurity space. And we even initiated a program called the Nested Wolf. The Nested Wolf is where we call a lot of people, the CISOs and cybersecurity professionals, for their inputs, what they like, what they think should happen. Everybody has a perspective, and we'd love to hear the perspective because we are not in itself everybody. We need
Exactly. Yeah. And
entire
can't be worked in
ecosystem.
isolation. You need.
That's yeah, there is nothing which works in isolation. So we decided
Right.
let's bring the people. So we started a series of roundtables called the Nested Wolf, and
Interesting.
that specifically addresses the security issues. And
Interesting.
that's one of the things we are doing here also.
Cool. Definitely, we hope that there'll be a lot of solutions coming out of the way,
Oh,
actually.
I'm sure there will be. When there is research, there are solutions. Then there's research, there's innovation.
Absolutely.
Without that, we are just going and taking the theory forward, nothing else.
Yes, yes. So speaking about cybersecurity again, like decentralized identity is seen as its holy grail, right? So,
Yeah.
can you walk us through any real world, use case where, where blockchain thwarted, the major identity
Yeah.
theft attempt and,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. I love this because I know I've been I've been promoting this for a long time. Listen, guys, let's see a great use case. People
right.
say there's no use case. There are so many use cases, it's just that we don't know about it. Let me just share one with you.
Mhm.
One of the very important factors, one of the important landmark things which happened in the whole world was the
Right.
COVID-19, the pandemic.
Right.
Now, during this time, during the peak of this, lots of governments, organizations, they really didn't know how to handle this in terms of how do I know it's not being carried forward? How do I know it's not spreading? So how did they? So we actually created a platform to verify health credentials. like whether you're negative tested or vaccination status,
Mhm.
without compromising on privacy. That's where blockchain really played a very important role.
Right. Right.
Now, there was a company called Evanim, which is now part of the company called Avast now. They worked with a network, the blockchain called Sovereign Network. The Sovereign Network is nothing but a public permission blockchain. It's for identity. And we rolled out verified credentials. Now, that is very important that, all the reports which came out, all the credentials through decentralized ID wallets. Users now could actually present proof of vaccination or any negative test at airports and public. So they could cross through right across. It was used in Europe first.
Okay.
So in one case, for example, one guy had attempted to forge a vaccination certificate, QR code. He wanted to go across from one place to the other. He actually faked it. It immediately got flagged because it was not matching on the ledger. It failed validation immediately because he checked in as a digital signature against a decentralized ledger. It failed. Obviously, it was not there. I said they didn't match, happened. Now, this entire project worked very well because A, the credentials were issued by a trusted entity and signed with cryptographically. That is very important.
Right.
Second, the user, you and me, we controlled our data and decided whom we shared it with. It was only shared for that purpose.
But
And there was no honeypot central database to hack. So nobody could hack it and get that information.
right. Yeah.
And fourth, the verifiers check credentials validity against a decentralized tamper-proof ledger. That is blockchain for you. That is very essential. Even in India, for example, when the vaccinations were being done, there were so many fake vaccination certificates.
Right.
Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't implement it. We didn't implement it in India. It was done in Europe. So still, of course, I'm not saying that we are not going to do it in the future. In the future, I just hope that we don't have a pandemic in the first place. But if that happens, we should be doing that. There are, of course, lots of things still to be done in this space. We have to have interoperable standards so that it can be across the globe. We don't have regularity, clarity. We have, we need an enterprise as well as the government buying. We just don't need the government to buy in or an enterprise to buy in. We need both of them to buy in. We have a lot of initiatives. Like India's Aadhaar discussion 2.0 is what I call it. That is being talked about. Microsoft Extra Verified ID is also being done now. These are good signs. What we've also done, I'd like to share this with you, Kavita, is we've also created one digit DID wallet, basically. It's called Soul Wallet. Soul, S-O-U-L. Soul means it's connected to you. It only belongs to you.
Right.
That is going to be a revolution because it's also got, apart from being a wallet, it is also a DeFi protocol embedded inside the same thing. So I can use my identity to do everything, including buying everything right from there, wherever KIC is required, or open everything without getting out of that. It's a single stop for that. And that's an Indian product. That's what I love about that. We are working on it now. I think in another 1 month, it'll be ready for launch. That has been the biggest
That may even
outcome.
hear the Aadhaar, which are also becoming, there are a lot of fake Aadhaars also cropping up. So maybe I'm just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
fake Aadhaars, fake PAN cards, fake election cards, everything.
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
we read some Bangladesh has got these cards. I live in Goa. I
Right.
have a lot of Nepali servants for that matter.
Right.
They all have Aadhaar cards. I'm figuring out how
Yes.
I have no problem if they have it. But
It's very
technically, they should not
surprising for
be having
people
it.
like us. We feel it's very sacrosanct. Like,
Yeah.
and still you see everybody's having an Aadhaar card. Yeah, yes.
I'm not against people working. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Correct.
Give them a work permit to work. But how do you get an Aadhaar card if you're not an Indian resident?
Exactly.
I've never been able to figure that out. We've got so many of them. In fact, I have a Nepali mate who's got 3 Aadhaar cards. I couldn't believe that. I said, yes, how do biometrics failed, everything? What happened?
Right.
It's worrisome. It's worrisome, especially in circumstances that we live in today. It's worrisome.
Absolutely.
95% people are fine. They're not going to do anything. But there are going to be the bad elements, and that's going to be the problem.
Correct.
So I think a digital DID would be a perfect solution. With zero knowledge proof IDs are going to be the future. I think by 2030, we'll have a lot of people moving into that space.
Hopefully, yeah, that's the wish actually, because when we're talking about so many things coming in, just to protect our identity, but still there's so much of fake being coming up. That's like really strange actually. Yeah. Okay. So let us take a step further to, from protecting identity to responding to threats in the real time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So now that's like, can smart contracts become the backbone of self-healing security systems, and that automatically quarantine breaches? And what would it take to build and scale such security DAOs?
Yeah, in my opinion, I can back that with a lot of
Right.
fact, is a smart contract would absolutely serve as the backbone for any autonomous self-healing security system. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, the concept of security DAOs, I don't know whether you've heard of them or you've encountered them. DAOs are decentralized autonomous organizations for cybersecurity are already being, a lot of talk and a lot of work is being done in several parts of the Web3 system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you ask me what would be a DAO look like, you do understand the DAO, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now for those who don't, I just break it down into very simple words.
Yes.
Just imagine a decentralized network where security protocols aren't hard coded and static. Now that's very important, but instead governed by smart contracts and community vetted policies.
Right.
Here's how they'll function basically.
Mm-hmm.
First, real-time threat detection.
Mm-hmm.
On-chain, off-chain oracles, we can use them. Off-chain threat monitoring services, something like AI-driven anomaly detections, which has been used widely, continuously will scan network traffic, APIs, smart contract, and interactions. All these will be scanned by them.
Right.
So whenever a breach or any activity is detected, a signed alert will be sent to an on-chain oracle service. Could be like Chainlink or something or Witnet. Then automated response via smart contracts. Now, here's smart contracts being the backbone is what that's the word you use, and
Right.
I continue saying it is the backbone. Now, smart contracts will execute predefined countermeasures immediately. Now, you detected a threat, here it comes. It'll either quarantine the wallet,
Right.
it'll either freeze the affect asset or permissions. It'll alert all stakeholders,
Right.
through any decentralized notification system like an EPNS, for example, or it could just trigger multi-sig approvals for high-risk resolutions. That's the second, that'll immediately done with a smart contract.
Mm-hmm.
Once that is done, experts like cybersecurity experts, validators, auditors can then vote through the DAO on
Right.
whether you permanently blacklist these guys, reinstate systems, modify any parameters for future threat resilience. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where we are now working with the smart contracts. Then but all this needs to be built on and to scale. That is a big challenge again.
Right.
So what will it take to build and scale this? It'll take a lot of effort and a lot of people working together with a common purpose. That's one thing. But besides that, you'll require advanced oracles on chain monitoring. That's very important. They have to be decentralized. They have to be trust minimized
Right.
security and oracles, which actually are great for this telemetry. Integration with AI and ML.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because anomaly detection, off-chain, and context-aware decisioning is very important. So the first step
So
we need to
AI and ML has to play a
yes, exceptional. Then
right.
we need to also have modular smart contracts. We just can't have a continuous one. We'll have to have a modular smart contract.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that will enable security automation.
Mm-hmm.
They should support modular, upgradable architecture. That is a big problem. Sometimes we don't have upgradable architecture.
Right.
That's a problem. We need to have upgradable architecture, whether we can use proxy patterns or ZK rollups, anything. And this will evolve the security logic without compromising immutability. Then we must incentivize it. Without incentivizing it, nobody's interested in working. So we can use the DAO, the DAO tokens
Right.
to
Right.
reward, say, like white hat hackers, voters,
Right.
responders,
Right.
bug bounty payouts, governance, participation, emergency response bonuses, everything. You can put in a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
You start monetizing, you start getting results. Then we do that, like I talked about at the beginning, the DID integration. Oh, yes. For managing security authority roles, verifying incident, all these KYC reports, we need to build in that. And then most important, I still say, is the legal and regulatory framework needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
It's a very complex question.
Mm-hmm.
Who is liable if a smart contract freezes funds by mistake? How do
Right.
you want to do it? We need clear DAO constitutions. We need good legal wrappers.
That's
The Wyoming DAO LLC is a very good example of it. If you
mm-hmm.
just have a look at the Wyoming DAO LLC, their structure is really good. The governance structure is really good. And different arbitration mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that there are blockchain-based courts like Kleros?
Right.
That's where we need, because we need all these things. There is no such thing as perfection, whether it's a smart contract or anything else. There are going to be issues. There are going to be problems. So, and finally, I think interoperability is a big issue also, which we need to address. And that if it's not addressed, we'll really have problems because security DAOs should work across chains. We don't have to keep building bridges again and again and again. They should be across all chains, protocols, layer one, layer two, everything. Like we need to put in, I've been using on Wormhole, I'm using layer zero. They will be the key in making it as level playing field for all. So, that's my take on this particular thing on the blockchain, on the smart contracts.
Right.
And a couple of very good examples, for anybody who would like to know. It's called Hatch Finance. Hatch Finance is fantastic. It's a decentralized bug bounty platform which uses smart contracts to incentivize, proactive security. Then you have Immunify DAO. Again, that's a community-led security bounty. Then you have Curio DAO, automated emergency modules for DeFi protocols. There are some good examples which people can see and integrate it into their entire workplace.
That's great. Now, I will also, I would like to ask, basically, blockchain definitely, I'm sure the awareness, I talk to a lot of people from cybersecurity, and I
Hmm.
still see, they don't have that kind of knowledge, or, they don't have that awareness. And even, I think, no, today people are talking about cybersecurity careers, but blockchain still happens to be a very, very, closed
Yeah,
industry as of now. So
yeah, yeah.
where are we as India, in India, where are we standing, or where are we on that, and what the route looks like, so that more and more people come to know, because when I even talk to people, they really don't know. They're like, oh, we don't know much about it, but yeah, they say it's helpful. Like recently, I attended Nalcon, and there was a company, they presented a blockchain, and they spoke about it. But still, if you can just guide us, or you can just take us through basically, and just give us simplify what exactly is blockchain, and and it's 4, 5 sentences. Though I should have asked this before, but I think for
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
benefit of the audience, it's always good to ask.
Yeah, yeah. You see, a lot of people, a blockchain is in a very simplified way, is nothing but a distributed ledger. It is immutable. It is disintermediated. It is distributed as a technology.
Right.
And it is basically, these are the three or four fundamentals you should understand. Now, I'll give you a model. Let's call it the FITS model, FITS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the FITS model which is in four different, in the acronym of FITS, that is blockchain. It is simplified. I mean, it's much more than that, but if I'm just can just concise it
Right,
in
right.
or an acronym. Why do we use blockchain? Where do we use blockchain? When do we use blockchain? The who, when, where, what, how of
Right.
blockchain. Now, F stands for fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever there is in business, in business or anything else, there is a chance of fraud, which is almost in all businesses. You require blockchain. So this is the application of blockchain. Where do you apply blockchain? Okay. So fraud could be through cybersecurity, cracks in the cybersecurity system or whatever. So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Information. Where there's a lot of information, whether the information is to be protected or there's a lot of information going around, you don't know the veracity of it, you don't know where it is coming from, there's no authenticity. So you can bring in blockchain for that. So information, because blockchain is a self-auditing, it brings in the information which is verified.
Mm-hmm.
T, trust. Where do you need trust? Do you need trust? You need a trust machine. You can't trust, say, the big giants because they have your data anyways. Can you trust them with your data? Can they use or misuse or abuse your data? We don't know. But wherever there's a trust factor, for example, in the supply chain, there are so many players, warehouse, shippers, documents, where are, customs, etc. There are many players down the supply chain, for example. You can't trust all documentation of people and what they're doing and what they're saying. Bring in the trust factor, bring in blockchain to put the entire, say, supply chain on the blockchain, for example. That's T. So FIT. And S, of course, is security. Blockchain is immutable.
Right.
That is the greatest value of blockchain. It cannot be hacked. It cannot be modified or changed like the centralized systems today. Bring in that, and you have a trust machine. If you have a trust machine, you've got it ready. So wherever there is a lot of security, bring in blockchain. So F, fraud, information, trust, and security. That's the FITS model. That's where you fit in the blockchain. Fit it with cybersecurity, fit it in the IoT space,
Right.
fit it in the AI space, and you've got a very, very well-oiled machine now, rather than just a one-off technology.
And how is India placed right now in terms of the penetration, or of a blockchain, if I may
See,
ask?
we talk about blockchain, and people are saying quantum computing will come and disrupt blockchain. Of course, it'll disrupt blockchain. Technologies are supposed to disrupt blockchain. Why not? But today's blockchains are now, they recognize the fact that quantum could be a threat of the future. Quantum is not yet such mainstream that we have to really worry too much about it. Yes, we should be aware and cognizant. That's where now a lot of blockchains are building, and quantum proof blockchains are coming up now. That is the future, anyways.
One more question I have, Raj, is what will take for decentralized, to become a mainstream, actually.
You need to have everything comes from the top. It has to be a government initiative. There has to be a government enterprise partnerships. There have to be incentives given to enterprise to start adopting blockchain based protocols and systems. We don't have, most important, which we don't have right now, are clear, transparent compliance frameworks and regulations. We don't have that. I always feel that if we don't have that, we are always going to suffer and stutter. You put everything in a framework so you know what is right and what is wrong. You get that. What we have right now is we are neither here nor there. We're sitting on the fence.
Mhm.
Sitting on the fence means there's no right, there's no wrong.
Yeah.
You're basically making it the Wild West. What you're doing are two things. You are stifling innovation. All the innovation is moving to, say, Dubai, Singapore, other countries. Not only the people, but even our brains are moving there.
Right.
It's a very sad state to be. Why don't we have regulations? So to get all these things, to have make blockchain and their integrations with and the confluence with other technologies mainstream, everybody says, yes, we love blockchain, but we don't know what will happen if the government says, no, no, this is not right, this is not right. Make it right. Put the policy.
What is stopping the government? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like, what is stopping because you have worked with multiple state governments and you're working on the largest blockchain project as well, right, with the government of India. So where exactly is the obstacle? I may say where is the hurdle?
I think in my opinion, and this is not a government opinion, this is my opinion,
Right.
it's that I think we still lack the awareness of the benefits of this technology. A. Second, it is associated with scam, crypto.
Right.
That is one thing which the government is a little skeptical about. Money laundering is also, anti-money. Yes. AML laws, are they? We don't have very tough AML laws right now. Yes, we have a lot of compliance, but still people can skirt them. Also, with a technology like blockchain, it's very easy to skirt such laws, to be very honest. Right. Yes, we can do that. And then we have, illegal money transfers, the hawalas and stuff like that. People are always, the government is worried. Nowadays, nobody puts their money in Swiss accounts.
Correct. Right.
Now it's different wallets.
Correct.
Now people talk about wallets, they talk about tumblers, they talk about crypto transfers, etc., USDT, blah, blah, blah. There is so much chatter. 5 years back, nobody used to talk about these. Now they do. So the government still hasn't wrapped its head around how do we address all these together. It is a challenge, no doubt. We are a very large country. We are not a small country that can make decisions like this because we have and there are too many stakeholders. There are too many stakeholders which are not on the same page today. That is there. When we have stakeholders on the same page, and what stakeholder we need? We need legal, we need risk advisories, we need chartered accountants, we need compliance, we need we need people from the industry, enterprise, corporates, government, technology experts. Because today, if I make a policy, if I don't come from a technology background, I can skirt the policy in no time because I know how to work around it. I can make a smart contract to work around that easy.
Yes, absolutely.
But that's where we need a lot of these people and all on the same page. We can all talk. We all talk. Exactly. We don't really do. That's the problem. We should take an example of a small example of at least one step forward. In the United States, in Europe, they've done the MICA, MICA is a great example of what we should do. It's a collaborative European Union which is creating that law, digital law. In India, we should have I call it DARA, DAR, Digital Asset Regulatory Authority. We don't have it. Why don't we have it? We have a SEBI, we have an RBI, we have everything. Yes. Why can't we have a DARA? I mean, you can call it anything you like. I'm just calling it DARA.
No, absolutely.
Sounds very easy.
Right.
We don't have it. Why don't we have it? We don't have it because we don't know what the hell to do with it right now. I'm sorry, but we have this lack of understanding and maybe we have not taken it as a priority item. In the digital transformation, when we talk about digital transformation of a nation, we must also prioritize all the latest technologies within that space and work in tandem, not in isolation. We are working in isolation. Right. Today we are creating an AI model right now.
Right, it's all the focus on AI, if I may ask. If I may see like whatever we see in the news reports and overall it's AI, but blockchain somewhere still. Yes.
I'll tell you like this. See, blockchain is a silent. It's an infrastructure. AI has been there 50, 60 years. It's not that it's new, but
Mhm.
Generative AI is what has generated the youths and the new generation's interest because it is actually it's solving a lot of immediate problems.
Right. Exactly.
Blockchain is a slow mover. It's like, it's in a cricket match. You have a T20, so AI
Right.
is
Test match.
T20, and blockchain is the 5-day test match.
Right.
Okay, so
It's
that's a strategy thing for over a period of time. It develops and evolves, and maybe the results come in the last day, the last over. Here, we know the results will come. They're instant results. The younger generation also wants instant results, and which is not wrong. We're living a very fast-moving society, so we need instant results. AI gives you instant results, but what it does not do, it does not take into cognizance are the ethics behind it. Is it infringing anybody's protocols, rights, IPs, copyrights? Things are working. We are working in that direction. Yes. Ethical AI, I think, becomes even more important when you're in AI. Blockchain will be like an elephant. It'll walk and it'll cover everything, but it'll walk slow. AI is like the cheetah. It's moving fast, it's moving rapid, and it's got the imagination and fancy of enterprise. Blockchain did not catch it has not caught the fancy of enterprise. Main reason, we don't know the rules and regulations, we don't have a compliance. AI is also going to face similar issues if the ethical aspects of it are not taken care. So I always call both these technologies in a in a little filmy style. I so this is like Bunty Bubbly.
Okay.
Brilliant technologies.
Right.
Together also they can work in tandem and isolate, but we need to tame them a little bit.
Right.
We need to, so let's say who bells the cat now. From our side, we're all trying, everybody is trying. Somebody's got to bell the cat, and actually it's only the government that can bell the cat.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong. So can a blockchain be considered a backbone, and where the AI can be, where it can give the security
Yes.
element of it to, the rapidly threats which are evolving because of AI? Like, can it be
Yeah. In fact, it's a beautiful audit machine.
Yes.
Whatever is generated, it
Right.
can audit whether it is authenticated, verified, or somebody's just put some information inside.
Exactly. Yes.
It can remove biases. It can remove all these things of the ethics. It can also check on the ethics, the copyright, the protection.
Right.
That's why I call it Bunty Bubbly. There are two things which work beautifully together.
Right. Where the security element can also be ensured while.
Integrated. Absolutely. You bring in the security. So it's
Hmm.
like if you see a diagram with three round circles, there's the intersection of it is security, cybersecurity, blockchain, and AI. I think that's a very potent combination.
Yes.
And I think that's where we should be working towards. The future trends should be all moving in that direction.
Absolutely. And I think it's a long way to go. Is it also one more question? Is it also the cost factor? Is like blockchain was sorry, lack of my knowledge is the blockchain.
Blockchain is free. I mean, public blockchain is public.
Hmm.
Okay, like Java is public.
Right.
Linux is public. You don't pay license fees for that, right? The problem is there are very few people which are aware of this technology and how to build on this technology.
But it has been there for years. So how has it
See,
been in the other countries or the other evolved
yeah,
nations, Western nations and all?
yeah. In fact, it's part of the larger group called the digital, the decentralized ledger technologies. Blockchain is part of that, not in itself, but DLT. It's been there for a long time. But if you really look at the numbers, for example, India has today numbers like we have about 80,000 or about 90,000 good professionals within the blockchain space, which is nothing. It's not even a drop in the proverbial ocean for a country which is tech savvy.
That's right.
If you see the latest NASSCOM report, the NASSCOM report says we need 800,000 people by 2025.
That was my next question. What's the number of the people who
Yeah, we need that many people.
right.
Where are we going to get them from? Okay, there is a demand, but there is no supply.
Right.
So I think for the supply part of it, we must address it at the college level, at the education level. That's where they're going to come out from there. They need to have it there. And it doesn't have to be an elective subject. It has to be a mainstream subject somewhere or a specialty.
Right.
We need to get that in. For example, Symbiosis has started a recently BBA program in FinTech. Now that is a 4-year intense program. I'm proud to be a part of it. That's why I'm very enthusiastic and think, yeah, that should do it. In fact, we are writing a lot of programs for USA, Canada, etc. But in India, people don't ask us to write a program for them.
Why? Because blockchain itself can be a full-fledged program, and then
It is a full-fledged. It is a technology which is not easy. It is not a technology that can be said, all right, okay, we just add a couple of things, plug. No,
right.
it's not
Right.
work. It's a cohesive effort. Now, some says, okay, I just want to write smart contracts. Listen, guys, smart contracts you can write, but how do you go to stitch it? How do you integrate it? How do you use it with other existing Web2 technologies?
Right.
A lot of things happen. And I think a 2 or 3, if not a 4-year course, at least in the last 2 years, they should have some sort of a specialization where people can understand that, even if it's like 1 year. But let's get started somewhere, guys. And it should not only be the only the IITs and all promoting, they're putting these courses. It should be mainstream in all,
Right.
not just from a tech perspective. Let's just put the tech perspective to one side. Let's put it, how do I apply blockchain in my life?
Exactly.
I pick
Exactly.
up the toothpaste in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It has come through a supply chain. Is that supply chain on blockchain?
Right.
Can I say that this is an original one which I have got? Can I prove the authenticity?
Yes.
Just right from the basics of that. Right from
Right.
the time you take, okay, I'm going to work, I'm taking an Uber. Can that be decentralized? So now an Uber driver directly gets a smart contract can directly reach out to the Uber driver rather than go through a company. The company can get its own commissions through a smart contract. Can we make it easier? Can we make it? Actually, we can. And we should. Your everyday life, let's look at it and say, can I apply these technologies anywhere? So one is the tech aspect of creating these products, platforms, and applications, and one is applying them, implementing them, using them as part of the corporate strategy to go ahead. That's where the real turn will come when we know that we are going to actually use it. Otherwise, we go to office, chat with our friend. How is the top level thinking strategically?
Yes. Yes.
And HR function also. Oh, why do I read blockchain and HR? How about digital credentialing? How do you know this? How do you know that Kavita is Kavita and Raj is Raj? How do you know? How do you know that when I get 20 freshers that they've done those projects, can I verify it? If I'm going to verify it to an agency, I'm going to pay money. Blockchain can do it in minutes and seconds without doing that.
Yes.
Digital credentialing, digital IDs can actually solve these problems. A single wallet, like I talked to you about Soul Wallet, can actually solve this problem in seconds rather than wait for weeks and, suddenly they say, oh, his documents are fraudulent or not correct. You have wasted 15, 20 days. You have wasted thousands of rupees in the verification process. You've trained that person, wasted precious time of the corporate. How much can you really save by doing that? Right from HR, people. HR also is there. So every function of the organization can think from a strategic perspective. And a technology CTO should have a seat on the board table so that he can drive all these.
Yeah.
Normally, CTOs are not part of the board table.
Right.
They're different.
Right.
But we need to have tech at the board level now.
Yeah. There's more like a support.
Then you have,
Right.
then you'll have the.
So is it the glamorization of the careers are not done? Like normally when you glamorize a career in blockchain, I think that's more required because I think half the
Absolutely.
youth, they get.
Like AI is like the Amitabh Bachchan. Everybody knows AI.
Yes, yeah. Like even
And blockchain is
I
like
have a niece who's 12, just cleared the 12, but she's like, oh, I want to do courses in AI. But see, blockchain is a term which still. So I think maybe that effort is needs to be put.
Yeah, creating awareness is required.
Yes,
So as I said, block AI is Amitabh Bachchan,
yes,
and you'll have block with Ayushmann Khurranas and Rajkumar Rao, who are great actors, but not
right,
as recognized. But they're great. They're doing some solid work. That's
right.
of course, that's my opinion. Everybody can have their own. But what I'm just trying to say is that there is something which grabs the limelight.
Correct. Like a
AI
star.
presently is the limelight.
Right.
There's all the torches, everything focused. Oh, AI, AI, AI.
Yes.
Even things which don't require AI are AI integrated. What the heck?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you don't need AI in anything, everything all the time. You
Right.
don't need blockchain also all the time. The blockchain fits model, that's only that what works.
Right.
But as you said correctly, you don't have the spotlight is not shining on blockchain.
Yes.
It needs to shine, or at least needs to have some light.
Yes. I think
It's
there should be
light
a lot of
you don't see.
effort made in that. Like it's a hot career.
Yeah.
Then the youth also get, aware. I'm sure there must be efforts done, but
Yes. There are efforts. The thing is, people don't have a direction. If I do blockchain, am I going to get a job?
Yeah. So if you put in the hot career, and then you show them the career path, probably.
Show them the pathways, show them the learning
Yes.
pathways.
Yes.
That's what I said. It all starts at the college level.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. And then they can, and also, I was talking to somebody from cyber. He said, even he has hired an air hostess in the cybersecurity career. He said that everybody doesn't need to be technical. So, maybe if that's also there, there's lots of people who are in India still who have no technical
You need to
background.
broaden the pool.
Yes. Yes.
You don't have to say, oh, blockchain, it's only for techies.
Correct.
Sorry, guys, it's not just for techies.
Exactly.
It's for everybody. As I told you, whether it's an HR function, it's a sales function, it's a marketing function, it's a strategic function, we need to have it from top down.
Yes.
The population has to be from top down. Right now, in India especially, it's not really there. It's happening. It is better than before, but it needs to be even better. And again, the minute the government says, yes, now we put this locked it into, because, blockchain has a different chains which all have their own tokens.
Right. Okay.
they don't, corporates are saying, hey, listen, if some of the token gets banned tomorrow or something happens there, what are we going to do? That is a big problem.
Mm.
There is a question mark. I don't blame them. There's a question mark. Always is a sword of Damocles hanging on top,
Right.
saying, मैं कर दूंगा उसके बाद अगर नहीं, I have to scrap it.
Right. So assurance is not there. It's not like
It's not yet there. It should be there. It's not
yes.
yet there.
Absolutely. So I think it's also because of the crypto association, probably.
That is
Maybe
the
somewhere down the
so
line.
if you break down the word crypto means keeping it safe. It's a crypt.
Correct, correct,
It's
correct.
crypt.
Yes. Right.
Unfortunately, it's some bad players make things happen,
Right.
and that also happened because it's a very nascent technology, so people don't are not aware of it. Today we talk about digital arrests, this, that,
Yes.
scams, online, got OTPs, and so many things are happening.
Right.
It's still happening. I mean, scams happen anyways.
Correct.
They've been happening
Absolutely.
time immemorial. You're never going to stop.
Right.
The approach has changed, but it's all going to be there.
Right.
And we always have to stay ahead of the curve. See, scamsters and etc. are always ahead of us because they don't have any rules and regulations to go by.
Exactly. Yeah.
We
That's
have. We
very
live within a framework. They don't.
right.
We
That's a
need
very
to
valid point you made.
Another point I would like to make, and this is for everybody, by college, individuals, please try and understand the dark web.
Right. Mhm.
Dark web is a very interesting thing. If you're you keep your moral compass pointed in the right direction. Your moral compass should always be towards the ethical side.
Right.
Get into the dark web to see what is happening out there because the latest in scams, the latest problems are all happening there.
In fact, they're much more advanced, I may say.
They are way ahead of us.
Advanced, right.
Way ahead of us. Now, we need to understand their psyche, the way, and start creating solutions, cybersecurity solutions, blockchain-based solutions, any security solutions, keeping in mind what's going to happen, not what's happened.
Yes.
A scamster moves past one and doesn't want to repeat. He's not going to repeat the same mistake again, same modus operandi again. He'll use another one. He'll use different targets, and then at some time he'll exhaust that and say, no, now somebody will find a solution. I'll make the next one. So before you are, he's ready before you are.
Yes.
You should flip that now. And the dark web is I think it's a great university for us to study security. I think so.
That's a very valid point because there's so much to learn from there to reference, and then you can accordingly
there was a movie by Leonardo DiCaprio was in that movie. It was called Catch Me If You Can.
Yes, right.
He was a bank fraudster who ultimately helps the FBI look for catch people who are doing bank scams.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a thief to catch a thief, they say.
Yes.
You have to think like a thief. You don't have to be a thief. You have to think like a fraudster.
Mindset has to be.
Your mindset change. And that doesn't happen in colleges. That doesn't happen when you and I talk. That happens when you actually move into their world and see what they are thinking.
Yes,
absolutely. I would recommend it for everybody.
No, very true, very true. I completely agree. And that the entire mind shift has to, the paradigm shift, I think, has to take place in order to, irrespective of how advanced we talk about ourselves, in technology and cybersecurity and all. Great.
Totally.
So as these technologies, my next question, that opens a broader question now, that stopping a threat is as crucial as, responding to it. So then the role of real-time data and transparency becomes even more critical, right? So how can on-chain analytics and, blockchain immutability ledger transform the fraud detection, the prevention of fraud detection and in banking and beyond? And where are the biggest technical hurdles that you see?
I think I've answered most of the question in the beginning, but I'll just add a couple of things to that. So I think I also added some challenges. Now, I tell you what we need to do is let's unpack a little. Let's have a look at the broader vision. What needs to be evolved? Karna kya hai? I think we are right now at a cusp of trying to see, do we have enough sandboxes?
Right.
Where are we? Like I said, in Goa, we are setting up the sandbox and a research center. Let's first put the sandbox. Regulation will come. Let's experiment with new models. Let's experiment with building these technologies together. Let's start ring fencing all these risks. Then show the regulators what we're doing. That's one. Then we can, when we talk about in the banking sector, etc., we use very, I think, archaic systems in the banking right now. I would say we are about 10 years behind the technology stack where a bank should be. And that's my personal opinion. Again, when I see the banking systems, I'll give you a simple example, very simple example, nothing to. I had a Forex card just now. I went out, I used the Forex card, suddenly stopped working when I was abroad. A little scary also. Hey, I can use my other international card, fine, that's okay. But the Forex card started using. I had gone in February abroad. I use the same forest card with the same password. Fine. When I went in again in April, it stopped working somehow. Okay. And I had a fair amount of money in that. Now I went and said, okay, I went back to the system and started trying to change the password. It's as simple as a simple thing. I'll keep it. I'm not going to name the bank or anything, but it asked me for a security question. What's your mother's maiden name? So obviously I know my mother's maiden name. I gave it. It says his name is wrong. Then I ask me the next security question. It refuses to ask me the next security question. Normally they have 2 or 3 questions which you
Right,
ask.
right. Yes, yes.
The protocols of queue, if you forget one, maybe
Correct. Yeah.
which is the first school or whatever.
Yes.
It refused to ask me that. It refused to ask me so much so that I spent about 2 hours trying to figure out how to change my password. I was trying to just change the password so that I could maybe reset the whole thing.
Right.
I came back to India. I went to the bank and I told them this is what happened. It has been 15 days. The bank hasn't resolved the problem. I don't know why. I don't even want to know why. I just told them reverse the money back into my account and I took a card from another place now. I'm going again. So I need a forest card rather than carrying. That means the system is somewhere not either upgraded or it could be a temporary glitch also. I don't know. But it troubled
There is
me.
a glitch.
Yeah. So as an individual, why do I suffer?
Yes.
Taking 20 odd rupees from me when I draw from an ATM. Why the hell am I going to suffer? You're taking money out of my money, which I'm withdrawing.
Right.
Okay. I'm not in favor of all these things. Why do you require so much money? Okay, doesn't matter. I'm not getting into that debate. But the technology is pretty much outdated. We use a little bit of more legacy systems, which have been robust for a long time. But now the banking system is overburdened. It's broken.
Right.
It needs a reset.
Okay, right.
We can reset it with using blockchain. Now, banks are using blockchains. They're using it for letters of credit, etc. They're using it for a couple of other things. But bottom line is, it's not widespread adoption.
Right.
Also, people are very scared. Banks get scared of DeFi.
Right.
I think you can actually adopt DeFi and have an extra additional revenue stream and an option for people to opt for it. You don't have to make it mandatory. People can opt for it.
Right.
Use those services. You definitely end up earning more revenue. When I send money outside, if I use the DeFi protocols, it'll be much better and faster and cheaper. Thereby, the banks can bring in more people, more monies, and so the Hawala route will be automatically restricted.
Right.
Today they say, it's too much. We'll do it the other route. Everybody knows other routes, unfortunately.
Right.
We all know it, but do we really make any difference? Do we really make any advancements towards it? No, we give all the lectures, we go on stage and talk about all this Gyan.
Exactly. Yes.
Listen, Gyan is great. Let's do something about it. Can we not start piloting new systems? Can we not start doing it piecemeal? Can we not roll it out over a period of time then? I'm not saying it's going to happen in over the next few years. It takes time. There are a lot of calibrations. There are a lot of protocols. There's a lot of legacy systems. We got to bring them all under one. It's not an easy task, but it's at least let's make attempts. See if it succeeds or fails. If it fails, you'll always have your legacy system to bank on anyways.
Right.
Can you not try and do something? Can you not do a couple of districts or a branch or whatever? I think we can do it. I think again here, the collective CEOs and the board heads need to sit down together and come on the same platform rather than think from a competitive perspective, they look from a collaborative perspective.
Is it more of a lack of will, or is it like so
it's lack of awareness again and lack of knowledge. I always attribute it to that. They may be karna hai. And then one person will say, okay, we'll put some blockchain-based system. Another one will shoot it up. None of the blockchain mein kuch pata nahi. We don't know. There are a lot of these conversations which I hear. The blockchain का कुछ पता नहीं ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा हमारा डेटा हमारे से लॉकआउट हो जाएगा तो हम क्या करेंगे things like that. There are a lot of questions which come up. There are no right and wrong questions.
A lot of apprehensions.
There are apprehensions. It's gray. It's opaque. Bring the regulations. Bring it. Yes, this is what it is. Yes. This is it. It's like we know what is a commodity. Okay. We know what is a stock.
Yes.
We know that and we know what we can do with it and what are the rules and how do we file our taxes for it. We know the entire 9 yards from A to Z where we need to go.
Right.
We don't know. We are roaming in all directions.
Right.
We are charging a 30% tax on crypto profits, not recognizing crypto as a currency. Questions are asked. You are taxing, but you're not accepting it. Is it an investment? Are you taking it as an investment? If it is not clubbed with other stocks, which can be offset. Losses and profits can be offset, not offsetting it. There are too many questions. There are too many balls in the air. We need to bring them and say, this is what it is. Bring it on a platform, stabilize it, let people imbibe it and say, yeah, that's what it is. It's just like we made a whole thing, cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Make people understand that crypto is not crime.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Let us bring
Absolutely.
it under a classification.
Correct.
Let us put some rules around it. We put rules for ourselves. Society puts rules for us.
Right. Right.
Let's put it around that.
Even
There's,
for stocks is the same, right?
I
Because
always, yes, we
yeah.
call it decentralized, yes. But
Right.
you need to alloy it a little bit. I
Right.
don't, it's like gold, 24 karat gold. You can't buy jewelry out of it. It's not really the best because it's very malleable and
Yeah.
soft. But
Yes.
you put a little bit of copper, make it a 22 karat gold, you have solid jewelry.
Sorry. Right.
That's where you need to bring in the decentralization also. We need to
Mhm.
just put that little bit of, and that is regulation.
Absolutely. And where are we on that? Like, if I may ask so.
Yeah, we've been sitting on the fence since 2017. Very honestly, we had a crypto policy around 2017 when it came up for discussion. In 2021, it almost became a policy.
Mhm.
And then suddenly there was a lot of backtracking. Multiple reasons. I won't share all of them, but
Right.
a lot of them being terrorist funding, AML. So all those things came up. But I tell you one thing, they can be sorted.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's again no silver bullet, and we need a lot of heads together to look at from a legal compliance perspective, tech perspective. But is there nothing? If you can create a technology, can you not create a solution around it, a security around it, a policy around it?
A
Yes,
framework. Right. Right.
yes, you can.
Yes.
You take it out, even if you take out, for example, a state says, we don't allow drinks, we don't allow drinks. So there is okay, you don't allow in Gujarat, for example, you don't allow
Yes.
liquor. So there
Correct.
is a policy around that. If you violate the policy, what are the consequences?
Yes.
You
Right.
put the actions and consequences in place. We are not putting any actions and consequences. We are putting the action, but what are the consequences and how they're going to be dealt with? Are there any loopholes? Are there any caveats? Not there.
Mhm.
So all these things, there is everybody's effort. We are all trying.
And I think one of our conversation earlier, you also mentioned that crypto India is leading in crypto. In fact, it's the second country with the cryptocurrency. Correct
Yes,
me if
we've
I'm
got the
wrong.
maximum, one of the maximum number of crypto wallets anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
That itself should be a harbinger of where the youth is going.
Right.
Are we not recognizing the voice of the youth? The youth is saying very clearly, we are going in that direction. We are okay with it.
Right.
Why don't you make it even better for us?
Exactly.
The second thing, after we put in that clause of a 30% taxation, etc.,
Mm.
on crypto profits, etc., almost 32,000 crores of money flew out of India into other countries.
Despite.
They said we don't want to pay 30% tax. We'll go to other countries.
Oh,
Where
right.
the jurisdiction is better, where compliance is better, especially in the Middle East, they went Singapore.
So
Multiple
do
places
they have
now.
all the policies in place?
Yes,
Sorry.
in fact, the United Arab Emirates has a policy called the BARA, Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. And that's why I said in India, make it DARA, Digital Asset
Yes,
Regulatory
exactly.
Authority.
Yes,
But
yes.
put an authority in place.
Mhm.
Let it take its time. Let it take feedback. Let it have all stakeholders contribute. All stakeholders play a very vital role.
Right.
Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. If we can't do it, what are we doing? I mean, why talk about it? And either we ban it
Exactly.
or
Yes.
we say, yes, we make the
We are not
policy.
even banning it. We are just like we are
We're not
saying
banning it, we're taxing it now.
second largest crypto wallet in India. So yeah, we are not even banning it.
Let's tax it. Let's collect the money. Then no problem. That's fine. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think, yes,
Absolutely.
you take your taxes, take everything, but also put some clarity in the people. Otherwise, they're going outside and doing it. Now, why you think they don't know the rules and they don't know how to do it? Everybody knows how to circumvent.
Right.
People in India, especially, know how to circumvent laws rather than
Absolutely.
follow
Yes.
laws.
Right.
So, I mean,
I
that's a
second that.
personal opinion, but so
Absolutely, I understand. Now, coming to my next question, is like innovation does not happen in a vacuum, right? So the right regulatory policies are required, and
yes, yes.
we just spoke about it. But as the government of Goa backs your initiatives, how do you balance the forward-looking regulations with the agility startups require today? So especially in the areas like decentralized finance, sorry, and carbon tracking platforms. I know we touched upon it, but yeah,
Yeah. I'll speak my mind on this a little
sure.
bit. Actually balancing progressive regulation with startup agility isn't a contradiction.
Okay.
It's actually a design challenge. Let me lay it out for you a little bit.
But it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a design challenge. It's not just a tech challenge, it's a design challenge. So I talked about the sandbox first, but we need
Right.
sandboxes, that's for sure. We need it, and we need a lot of young startups to come inside and participate in those sandboxes. We'll get the regulatory clearance maybe after we do a little more of experimentation.
Right.
Vaccines don't come out without experimentation, for example. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have failures, we have successes, and then we come out with a policy, and
Right.
then we come out with the vaccine. The same thing is with policy. Now, We should have, instead of prescribing how something must be done, can we not co-create principles around, say, transparency, disclosures, smart
Right.
contract audits, risk management protocols? What are the circuit breakers for DeFi pools? Can we not take user data rights and say carbon footprinting and bring in sustainability inside the whole thing also? Can we not bring in ethical tokenomics?
Right.
Can we do it? The question is yes or no. That's the question we must pay. So it should be principle based, not rule based. Right now, we lean heavily towards the rule based, not principle based. I think principles are more important than rules at minimum at some times. We also need to participate and have very agile and participatory governance. Let's work on setting up decentralized governance models for public interest projects. For example, we can use it in the carbon credit project example. For example, if carbon offset projects in Goa use, let's say, a tokenized proof of green certificates,
Right.
which are powered by blockchain, governed by DAOs, comprising of environmental experts, government representations, and community validators, this reduces the unilateral government control. That is very important. And it also ensures environment integrity. So now we are actually linking a good cause with a technology. Can we
Yes.
not do it? Yes, we can do it. And as an organization, we also do, Kavita, we're doing a lot of work in this. We have a concept called Tech Zero,
Mm-hmm.
using technology to enable reaching the goal of net zero. Can we do it? Yes, we
Wonderful.
can. So, you know, I'm taking carbon tracking as a very, very important thing because I believe that we in India can actually do a lot for our economy using that. In the challenges in DeFi, and right now there are so many DeFi, there are so many of these frauds, rug pulls, unregulated lending protocols. They are really real risks. We have unclear tax treatment, AML enforcement. We don't have circuit breakers because circuit breakers, if we bring in circuit breakers, we basically kill decentralization. We have all these specific challenges. I told you before also, let's use a modular smart contract approach. Let's leverage on-chain oracles. Let's encourage open data, third-party audits, while preserving the PII via the zero knowledge proof ZKP, as I said, tools. Can we do that? Yes, we can. A lot needs to evolve. Yes, we need to have faster legal frameworks. Again, it all boils down to the legal frameworks. We also, more important, we need a very broad vision.
Right.
Regulation shouldn't be a hurdle. I think it should be an enabler.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what my question was.
Yeah, the
Right.
trick is giving startups clear lanes to run in. That's your lane, go run.
Right.
While keeping a safety net for the public good.
Right.
They should not be allowed to go wild, but give them a clear mandate, this is what you should do. And I think if India takes this very progressive stance with the right intent, and then make it sandbox driven, participatory,
Right.
we will get a lot more agile startups. And India has that talent. We are not dipping into that talent.
Where do you see any other country that you would like to name, where they are really following these policies and, helping the startups to evolve and grow and
Yes.
providing the right nurturing ground, if I may
I
say.
would say almost every other place is doing that. Unfortunately. I'm not saying unfortunately. I think it's still we learn from there. I have seen in Israel, for example, a lot of startups actually walking this talk. Okay. I have seen even Dubai, the governments in UAE, and not just Dubai, the United Arab Emirates in whole, they have very progressive policy. Why do you think there are so many Web3 startups and young startups in the Middle East? A country is a place which is smaller than
Right,
all
exactly.
Sicily.
Yes. And
And
we
they
are
have
more technologically advanced.
there are more advanced. The innovation comes from United, and there are a lot of Indians which are innovating out there. They have come from where? They have come because they have got disgusted with a certain system or unhappy or
Right.
unsure of a certain system, and they've moved shores.
Mhm.
I'll be very honest, I also do a lot of work there.
Right.
Because of these regulations, I have to do it there. A lot of it. My heart is in India.
Right.
My heart lives here. But I have to eat. I have to survive. For that, I need to go outside. That's not the best ideal situation, but it is a situation. So you look at the UAE, they thrive in such an environment. They thrive. They know oil is what they had, the Middle
Yes.
East oil.
Right.
That was the black gold.
Correct.
Today, we have digital gold, and the digital gold is all concentrating, meeting, influencing in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. Oh, not just Dubai, everywhere. Ras Al Khaimah, for example, recently, as I work a lot with them, has
Right.
started a thing called a DAO, called Digital Asset Oasis.
Mhm.
It's for Web3 companies encouraging Web3 innovation. You need to innovate in a space where we are, in a space like ours. We need to innovate.
Right.
We innovate in India, we generally do a cut, copy, paste of what the West is doing
Right.
because we don't have the environment of innovation as broad as they are there in smaller places. Yes, they have lesser challenges, they have more money, maybe.
Right.
But
Right.
can we not? We have a Startup India program, which is fairly good. We have a large startup program. But how much of it actually percolates it down and how much of it encourages innovation
Right.
in any space? I don't see real great startups coming from it. Maybe we have good startups. If you say there's a startup like, say, a Zepto or something, I don't find it really innovative. I just find it good, very, very useful. Yes. Innovative? No. Do you find it, innovative? Do we find a Flipkart innovative? No, it's a copy of Amazon. Do you
Absolutely.
find an Ola innovative? No, it's a copy of Uber.
Mhm.
Why are we copying? Can we not think beyond? Can
Right.
we not make something better? Yes, we have a lot of sporadic things happening, but it's not a concentrated effort.
Right.
Because again, we don't have the regulation, the regulatory framework here, especially in the Web3 space, is missing.
Right.
It is there in the startup space, but in the Web3 space, the absence of it is hurting us. We missed the Web 1 bus, we missed the Web 2 bus. We are going to miss the Web 3 bus if we don't do it now. Even in cybersecurity, when you talk about all these cybersecurity, have we really innovated from India? I'm
Because we're
sorry.
talking, there's no single unicorn also which has come in cybersecurity.
No.
Yes.
Why? We have a lot of professionals, great ideas.
Right.
Do we get our chance to express our ideas? Do we get a chance to say, to break the barriers and think out of the box? No, we are told, no, no, you got to do only this. We start building the silos way before we start anything else. Innovation is going to go for a toss.
Is it just because this cost constraint or something like the, or
No.
because if you get into deep tech or innovation in those fields, there'll be
No. I don't think cost should be a factor.
okay.
I think good projects get backed by good funders
Right.
from any country, India or outside. I also think that a lot of Indian funders are very conservative, and therefore, most of these then move out to foreign shores and get funded outside.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you'll see your unicorns coming out from there.
Right.
Today, an exchange, for example, is a unicorn. One of the exchanges is a unicorn.
Mhm.
And in India, it's not in India. It's registered outside.
Mhm.
So I was part of a very large. I was part of one of the unicorns which India created, which is supposed to be an Indian unicorn because they're Indian founders.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
It's called Fire, 5IRE, Fire. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
We got a unicorn status after our India's 105th or 106th unicorn, somewhere around there, in about 21, 22. It's not registered in India.
And
It's by Indians. We are all Indians in that.
means, right.
But it
Right.
is, but technically, from a compliance and regulatory, it is not right. So, technically speaking, it's not Indian. Yeah. Even, for example, a Wazirex, for example, is Singapore based.
Yes. Right.
They are Indians.
Mhm.
But because of the compliance opaqueness and not lack of clarity, everybody moves out.
Mhm.
It is the saddest thing which can happen to a nation.
Absolutely.
The tech savvy nation,
Exactly.
our strength is technology. We want to move to the 5 trillion, 8 trillion economies. We don't have everything else. China will not let us do it in the manufacturing sector, but we have it in the IT sector. Can we not do it? If China can take out a DeepSeek, why can't we do it? We will do it after China has taken out. Now we are doing a lot of things in AI. Why are we copying it? We don't even need them.
Absolutely. Right.
We suddenly have knee-jerk band-aid reactions. Oh, ये करेंगे. इसने किया, हम भी करेंगे. Me too. Why am I left out? You're left out basically because you never innovated. Somebody else did it before you. We follow, others lead. That is the paradigm we need to change. Bring in change with sustainability, with purpose. Then maybe we change.
And right.
I believe that. And of course, we need the government to do a lot of help in that. They need to make this mainstream. They may to make, technology is going to be our core strength. Can we not do beyond, ad hoc projects and initiatives? No. Is the AI, we are creating an AI, model, etc. Is it in sync with anything else in the other technology stack? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's thought that through as yet. We should first think that through. How is it going to work with that? How is it going to benefit all these other factors? For example, we have an AI white paper by the Niti Aayog. We have a blockchain white paper. We don't have an integrated white paper on how these industries and sectors are going to work together in tandem.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You can't dance alone, Kavita. You got to
Mm.
dance with somebody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a long way to go. And a lot, yeah, there's a lot of mindset shift that needs to be required from many ends.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now coming to my last question. Now let's zoom out beyond Goa and beyond 2025.
Yeah.
And we also touched upon it. So looking toward 2030, actually, what's a one bold prediction you would like to make? Either in how blockchain will reshape global security, cybersecurity standards, or how crypto will influence the next generation of anti-fraud measures.
I'll just unpack it very simply.
Yes.
We are going to see the advent of DID. I'm giving 4, 5, not just one. I don't see the one thing because they are all working in tandem.
Sure.
So allow me to say 3 or 4 of them.
Definitely, sure.
So I first think that we are going to have DID, no passwords, no centralized ID databases. Your identity will live in a self-sovereign encrypted wallet. That's my first prediction by 2030, not too far away from now.
Right.
I'll still be around to see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So, you can prove who you are or that you meet a required credential like an age or a license. I just have to go to a license, just do that. So that's going to be my first prediction for the next 5 years is your DID and zero knowledge authentication. Today, we have how many Aadhaar card, PAN card, Aadhaar, passport, I don't know how many things we got.
Right.
You need so many things to prove that you are you?
No, I think once in, yes.
Second, I think we are going to have crypto powered, when I say crypto blockchain powered, decentralized anti-fraud networks. Think of it like a chain analysis plus a bug bounty program plus community run compliance. That's going to be the norm. It's already happening everywhere else. India will take some time. I'm still telling that because we still haven't reached the fundamental stages yet of creating the, etc. Then, that's the second thing. I think a lot, we will start doing a lot of work in the CBDC space also. If we're going to more regulatory approach like the RBI approach, the CBDC is going to become more prominent and most of the countries are start going to use CBDC. That's going to be this. And, as I told you, again, I'll boil down to the zero knowledge proof. Everybody started slowly and steadily working on that. Frauds, protection of frauds, mitigation of these issues, these are going to be the next topics because they are prevalent everywhere. I don't see too many things happening in this place. One of the things and one of the places where I'm advising one of the governments, we are actually going to open up a full-fledged city. Like we've opened a Web3 city here, using the same concept, bringing in all the players who are working in this under one roof to collaboratively work on a universal global solution. Yes. We cannot work on ad hoc country-specific solutions. Right. We are now digital nomads. We move from place to place. Right. The migratory trends are everywhere. Indians are everywhere. If people can come here, we can go there. How do we check authenticity? How do we check the frauds? Too many things are happening, but they're all happening in different places. Can we not have a centrally research agency or a system where we can find solutions? We're not going to find a solution for everything in life. Yes. Right. Can we not? How does the healthcare and medical industry work? They work in collaboration. They don't work in isolation. And therefore, we find solutions for cures. Can we not do that in this space? Cybersecurity, blockchain, AI, regulators, governments, enterprise, all come together and have a beautiful tandem dance. You have to dance together to make that happen. We got to be in lockstep. We are right now marching in different directions. Right. Can we not bring it? I think has to be an effort collaboratively, just like we have our G20s when there's a collaborative discussion. Can we not bring about a G20 of technology? That's a beautiful thought. That's really a beautiful thought. Yes. Thank you so much, Raj. I think, your insights show how blockchain isn't just disrupting cybersecurity, but it is, rebuilding it from ground up. So with bolder ideas and real world impact, the future you're shaping is decentralized, secure, and forward looking. So Thank you so much. Yes. You must always look up. The future is always forward looking. Let's do it. That's all. Let's all together do it.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much and wish you all the very best for all the, all your initiatives that you're working towards. And I'm sure it will be a great success. Looking forward to all of them.
We all look forward to everything, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more in the next. Maybe in
Thank
the
you
next
so much.
topic we have, I'll have said soon. Now this is done.
Definitely. Thank you so much.